This bronze and steel sculpture is called the Phoenix, and it was sculpted by John Lumpkin, and it represents and acknowledges the industrial progression of this southern city by the river. The Phoenix by John Lumpkin. Good afternoon, my peeps. This your boy P9, and I'm coming from you here in Columbus, Georgia. And I'm gonna start this vlog off here in Columbus on 2nd Avenue, right here in front of the St. Luke Church. And I'm gonna make my way downtown Columbus. So again, this is St. Luke's Church right here. And let me go ahead and get this fountain over here on the church grounds. And this is called the Pierce Memorial Fountain, given by Mr. and Mrs. Don Abbott Turner in memory of Dr. Lovett Pierce, pastor of St. Luke Methodist Church from 1836 to 1837 and 1840 to 1841, and also Bishop George Foster Pierce. So these were pastors of St. Luke Methodist Church in the 1800s. So it's a nice fountain right here, and here goes the side of that church. So Columbus, Georgia is actually a consolidated city county. So it's consolidated with the government of Muskogee County, and it is on the western border of Georgia and Alabama. So it's right across the state line from Phoenix City, Alabama, on the Chattahoochee River, which we'll see later on. But with that city county consolidation, Columbus became the second largest city in Georgia, behind Atlanta, on which it is 100 miles southwest of Atlanta, the state capital. And this is the first Confederate Memorial Day service in Columbus was held on this site, St. Luke Methodist Church, on April 26, 1866. So St. Luke Methodist Church has a lot of history right here in Columbus. So I'm making my way now down 11th Street. And here's another church right here called First Presbyterian Church. So Columbus, Georgia was founded in 1828, about roughly 20 years prior to Atlanta being founded. So Columbus is an older city than Atlanta. And Columbus was actually founded roughly 30 years before the Civil War broke out in 1861. And it was a very important production center during the Civil War, especially given its location alongside the Chattahoochee River. A lot of industry. There's a nice mural right here. It's by Gary Pound, and it was created in 2018. Now this building once hosted the concrete company, which was founded in 1951. So again, Columbus was a major industrial city back in the day. Okay, they have an opera house called the Springer Opera House. Walking down First Avenue now. Check this out. They have a star right here with Chet Atkins' name, honoring Sandy Dawson, and this star was created in 1993. So First Avenue in Columbus, Georgia, you know, they have their own little like mini walk of fame. Here she goes right here. The front of Springer Opera House, right here on 10th Street. And this theater was founded on February 27th, 1871, when Francis Joseph Springer, originally of Alsace, opened this opera house. The Springer's 40-foot deep stage held a continuous round of shows of every description. Here, Edwin Booth played Hamlet February 15th, 1876 on his first Southern tour after the war. Blind Tom Bethune, the Negro musical prodigy born near Columbus, performed here often. Oscar Wilde and William Jennings Bryan lectured here. John L. Sullivan, the world champion, gave a boxing expedition, and Miss John Drew, grandmother of the Barrymores, starred in She Stoops to Conquer. So here's the marker outside of Springer Opera House. So this again, this building, established in 1871, has a rich history as it pertains to the many performers and performances that they've had in this building. And you can see it's nicely maintained. The old brick structure. So this building is over 150 years old, but still looks really nice, you know, on the outside. And I'm pretty sure it looks the same on the inside. And it is closed from August 5th, 2024 until August 9th. So, you know, so it is going to be closed over the course of the next few days. They're doing road work over there, it looks like. So they have that sidewalk blocked off. But this isn't my first time in Columbus. My big sis, you know, she once attended colleges, or she once attended college at Columbus State University. This was many moons ago. But I have visited Columbus before. Been to the Riverfront. I remember the downtown area pretty well. A lot of nice historic buildings, restaurants, things of that nature. It's just been such a long time since I've been to Columbus. And this building is actually called the Oglethorpe Housing Building. So it's connected to the Columbus State University. The Abbey Presbyterian Student Center. We have an alley right here. Here's a marker, historical marker. Dr. Thomas Brewer, a Pike County, Alabama native of African American descent. Dr. Brewer was born November 16, 1894. Okay, same day as my birthday. His office was located at 1025 and a half First Avenue. Brewer emerged as a chief spokesman for the civil rights of the Negro and was described by Roy Wilkins of the NAACP as a fearless champion of the rights of his people. His goal to guarantee the Negro the right to vote throughout the state of Georgia and the South was achieved in the Primus King case in 1945. He was a leader of the local chapter of the NAACP and worked tirelessly for racial equality. Brewer was killed by gunshot February 18, 1956 near this site. So yeah, that's very unfortunate. Mr. Brewer, you know, he really fought hard for African Americans to have the right to vote, and unfortunately, you know, he was gunned down. You know, he didn't even get to die a natural death, so that's very unfortunate. but you know, definitely had to recognize his efforts, you know. It's like a restaurant right here, restaurant over here, and then here goes a barber shop. Old school barber shop, established 1979. Okay. I'm over here on Broadway in the uptown section of Columbus. Check out this sculpture right here. Looks like a swan. It's called the Sleeping Swan by Mark Priest, made out of steel. Sleeping Swan by Mark Priest, 2012. But yeah, I'm over here, and again, the uptown section of Columbus. Now over on this section, as you're about to see, there is a whole lot of, you know, cool shops and restaurants, you know, little clothing stores, all type of different spots. It looks like a nice hangout spot, especially for college students, you know, from the local college students from Columbus State. And they actually have a couple of the universities buildings that are affiliated with Columbus State that are actually on this stretch of road. So as soon as I get the go ahead to cross the street, we'll go ahead and go. Yep, here we go. A nice sculpture right here. It looks like a mother reading to her 3 children. The Kiwanis Club of Columbus. Okay. And they also have a record store, Blue Canary Records. They sell vinyls, cassettes, CDs, turntables, and also merch. So a lot of, you know, if it has a record store, you know the district is popping. And this is Frank's Alley. They also have a hot dog restaurant established 3 years ago in 2021. So that's the restaurant. And they even have a nice little, I guess, I don't know what this is, a hot dog mobile. Has with propane tanks at the back of it. It's pretty cool, man. And I also noticed a few sculptures as I was walking down the street not too long ago. So it's a really nicely designed stretch of road. This is Broadway. Oh, they got a Rocket Fizz. More than likely, a lot of these restaurants and a lot of these stores where a lot of it was added recently, you know, probably within the last few years, to redevelop the area, especially considering that Columbus is located on the river, so it just adds to that appeal of the city. And as I mentioned earlier, Columbus has expanded to become the second largest city, so it's only natural that they will continuously develop the downtown area. As you can see right over there goes another fountain, and there's a hotel over there as well called the AC Hotel. Matter of fact, let me get a closer look at this fountain. As you can see right there. Look at here. Whatever this sculpture is really interesting. It's like a bunch of pentagons right here in iron pentagons that are clustered together to make this sculpture. And again, it's some more iron right here. I don't even see any info on these things, but they're really nice sculptures though. I will say that. They have a milkshake mama, so you can go over there and get chicken salads, buffalo chicken, foot-long hot dogs, quesadillas, and of course milkshakes. So they sell all type of stuff over there. Then goes a Hampton Inn hotel. So they got quite a few hotels downtown. This right here, this sculpture is called "The Soil Was Not Overly Loose," built in 2009, and is made out of wood and steel. And Paul Howe is the architect or sculptor of this particular sculpture, and this is really nice, very unique. Again, it's called "The Soil Was Not Overly Loose," Paul Howe. Cool sculpture right here as well. It's like two intersecting purple squares. And I'm over here now at the corner of Broadway and 12th Street. And this right here is a Synovus Bank. and it sits right next to the Columbus City Hall. And there's a marker symbolizing the historical importance of this building. Synovus began in 1888 with the establishment of the Third National Bank of Columbus and Columbus Savings Bank, renamed Columbus Bank and Trust in 1927. Bank President W.C. Bradley merged the two organizations in 1930 to form Columbus Bank and Trust Company, or CB&T. In the 50s, under James Blanchard's leadership, CB&T got an early start in the credit card business, which later became the Total System Services, Inc. In 1971, Blanchard succeeded his father as president at CB&T and contributed to the Georgia legislature passing the Multi-Bank Holding Company Bill in 1976. So again, this is the Synovus building, and the Synovus Banking Company got its start right here in Columbus. I've heard of Synovus Bank, but I did not know that they had their beginnings right here in Columbus. So just learned something new as I make my way down 12th Street. And I'm glad it's really shaded over here because that sun is really out here today. We had a little break for these past couple of weeks or so with the overcast cloudiness and the rain, but that sun is now back in full effect. So but as you can see right here, this is Columbus City Hall, and it's in a modernized brick building, as you can see. That building over there looks really old. Looks like it was built at least in the early 1920s or 1900s, somewhere around there. But over there is the downtown market. It's the 1896 building. I just read that across the street. I'm gonna go ahead and cross to get a closer up on the building. Yeah, this is called the 1896 building. So based off of the name, I would guess that it was constructed in 1896. I was close. I said early 1900s, but it was the late 1800s at the tail end of the 19th century. But here it is right here. It hosts a bodega right here, and then the downtown market right over here. So it's a really popular place for locals to come. You even have a nice little sculpture right here of the rooster and the pig. There's another marker on this corner at the another historical marker On this corner, at the corner of 1st Avenue and 12th Street, stood the Oglethorpe House, widely known antebellum hotel. It was built in 1836, and this old building was the scene of gala receptions honoring famous visitors to Columbus. Among these visitors were 2 presidents, James Polk and Millard Fillmore, and the statesman Henry Clay. And General Winfield Scott used this partially completed structure as his headquarters when, in 1836, he commanded the U.S. troops sent to his region to quell an Indian uprising which threatened Columbus and other West Georgia settlements. So, there you have it. The Oglethorpe House. At least that's where it stood. It stood on that site where the marker's located. And this building is the Masonic Temple building. So it has like a boutique right there, and also has a realtor, a real estate company right here. A couple of restaurants as well. Look at that replica of the Eiffel Tower right outside this restaurant right here called My Boulange. That's the U.S. Post Office and courthouse right over there across the street. Okay, Bites and Brews. So apparently they have a pinball machine in there, but it's like a restaurant. It has a skee ball and a pinball machine in there. So it's a restaurant, a brewery, and like a little arcade. As I get ready to walk down the other half of Broadway Street, I want to get this sculpture right here. It was designed by Gary Pound, James Decker, and Tim Vinson, and created by the children of TAP 2007 and welded by Kendrick High School teacher Chris McGrotha and juniors Reuben Fields and Arthur Thomas. So these are the people that put this sculpture together. It's really nice. Very creative, and it's called the Thompson Pound Art Program Peace Tree. Chattahoochee Valley Episcopal Ministry Inc. dedicates this tree to the pursuit of peace among all races and religions in the Columbus community. So basically it symbolizes peace and harmony amongst all the races in the Columbus area. So that's cool. That's really a nice representation of that. There's a marker of Mirabeau Bonaparte Lamar, who was born near Louisville, Georgia. And it was near this point where Lamar established a newspaper office in May 1828. As editor and publisher, he presented on May 29, 1828, the first issue of the Columbus Inquirer. So he lived with his wife Tabitha Lamar Jordan and his daughter Rebecca Ann in a cottage near the Chattahoochee River. So in essence, prior to the Civil War, You know, this was probably this was during like the Texas Revolution. During that time, that's when Mirabeau Lamar established a newspaper, and it was called, again, the Columbus Inquirer, and that's where it got its start. Again, another unique and cool sculpture. This looks like a bunch of pipes right here. That's dope. That's dope. Has some rust on it, unfortunately, but it's still a cool sculpture. And like I mentioned earlier, Columbus State University does have a couple of buildings located downtown, particularly in Uptown. And this is one of them right here. It's called Frank D. Brown Hall. Now, I'm not sure if it's a residential hall or an academic building. You can see there goes Columbus State University poster outside of it. They have this little area over here. Underneath this shelter right here, you can get plenty of shade. Here's the other side of Columbus City Hall. And in there, they also have the Uptown precinct of the Columbus Police Department. And as you can see, the brothers over here doing their thing with the construction. So that essentially a good chunk of that sidewalk over there is closed off. I had to come over here for a brief second to get a little bit of shade. Try to get as much of it as I possibly can. And it's just a marker right here, just of a little brief history of Columbus. The city of Columbus was created as a trading town by an act of General Assembly of Georgia, December 24th, 1827, as I mentioned earlier. The location designated was on the Chattahoochee River near the Coweta Falls. This spot was selected because it was at the head of river navigation and at the foot of a long series of falls which afforded great potential water power. A reservation of 1,200 acres was allotted for the town and commons. Surveying on the streets began February 1st, 1828, and was completed within 3 months. Within 13 days after the sale of the city, lots began July 10th, 1828, and 488 of the total 632 lots had been sold. The remaining lots were sold in February 1829. So Ignatius Few, Edwin D. Graffenreid, and James Hallam, Philip H. Austin, and Elias Bill were designated commissioners to conduct the sale. And Edward Lloyd Thomas was the surveyor in charge. Governor John Forsyth and his staff attended the initial sale. While here, They camped in tents pitched on the town commons which bordered the river between the present 4th and 7th streets. By the end of 1829, the city had 1,000 inhabitants. So, you know, only 1,000 inhabitants. So, of course, they started off small, but over time, centuries later, Columbus is now expanded to the 2nd largest city in the state of Georgia. And another cool sculpture right here. This one is by Caitlin M. Underwood, and it's called Generation. It was sculpted in 2013, and it's made of concrete and mild steel. So, Generation is derived from Underwood's personal experiences and memories of Columbus. That's really cool when art can, you know, represent people's experiences. It's like their expression. And Caitlin Underwood did a really good job with this sculpture. Again, it's called Generation, and it was sculpted in 2013. Donut shop right here called The Original Very Best. Look how nice these buildings look, how old and yet historic and nicely maintained they are. Yes, they show signs of decay in certain parts of it, you know, signs of old bricks and stuff like that, but overall it's still nicely preserved. I mean, again, a lot of these buildings are from the late 1800s to like early 1900s. And they got a couple more bars and grills over there across the street. They got a bar and grill. They got a couple bakeries and yogurt shops. This is the Mickey Watcher, created in 2006 out of aluminum and steel. And it is by the sculptor by the name of Jim Collins. It's a really cool sculptor. Looks like a silhouette of a dude with Mickey Mouse ears, and he's just sitting looking up to the sky. And he's sitting on his tall chair. And again, it's called Mickey Watcher. Made out of powder coated aluminum and steel and sculpted by Jim Collins. Shout out to Jim Collins for this interesting sculpture right here. Mixed Market at the Pearl. Looks like a fairly recently opened restaurant. They have a smoothie and juice bar over here as well. So Columbus, it looks like it's a nice, their downtown is like a nice blend of central business district, you know, government buildings mixed in with a riverfront and like a kind of like a college town vibe atmosphere. I mean, they have plenty of places where, you know, college students can hang out. Pretty much anybody of all ages can hang out over here. And they have a little something for everybody. This is called this is called Saturday Distraction, sculpted in 2007. It's a bronze sculpture sculpted by Sherry Treby, who is recognized by the arts community for her many contributions to local charities. So that's really nice. Cool sculpture of a young man. It's like he's reading while his dog is you know, jumping on his knee. So that's really cool. There's another fountain right here. I got an axe throwing joint right over here. Columbus Hall, student housing for Columbus State University. This sculpture is called The Garden by Mark Moulton, made out of stainless steel and sculpted in 2008. Check this out right here. This is really cool, man. This is a nice waterfall right here. In Uptown. Nice waterfall. Nicely sculpted. Has like a little like snake design in the middle of it. And it sits right out here in front of the Rivercenter for the Performing Arts. So this is a performing arts venue right here on Broadway Street. Now this is the Marriott Hotel. We're at the corner of Broadway and 9th Street now. This is the Marriott Hotel here in Columbus. And right here is the Houlihan's restaurant. Why is this important? Because this used to be the spot when we would come visit my sister from time to time while she was enrolled in college at Columbus State. We would come here and eat at Houlihan's right here. So this brings back good memories. But in this building itself, which now houses the Marriott Hotel, it used to be a cotton gin in 1847. So basically, up until the Civil War, it operated as a cotton gin manufacturing company. It became the and here's the marker, by the way. It was called the Lummis Cotton Gins. So Franklin H. Lummis controlled the company, and the name Lummis became synonymous with the manufacture of cotton gins. And again, this was in the mid-19th century, up until the end of the Civil War. So it was a lot of textiles and cotton that was manufactured in this building right here, that was eventually restored and maintained to host a hotel as well as a restaurant. How cool is that? Here's some more historical buildings. As now I'm in the historic Columbus district of the city. And these look like this one right here. This building was a wholesale grocery store back in the late 1800s. The Cargill Wright Company, built in 1902. The Cargill Wright Company candy manufacturers and syrup refiners were the first occupants of this building. The building was also home to Pennick and Ford and the Hardaway Cargill Company, both syrup refiners, and Mitchell Hosiery Mills. So Here's the marker right here, and all of those were hosted in these buildings right here. So these buildings right here have high historical value. Go down these steps and resurface on the other side. This building right here is the Columbus State University College of the Arts. So I believe the main campus is located outside of downtown, but again, Columbus State University has quite a few buildings and departments that are located downtown as well. Here comes a railroad right here. So this is the Columbus Historic District, Riverfront Industrial District. So we are almost to the riverfront of Columbus. That's the part that I was really waiting for. Even though I like downtown. Downtown and Broadway is really cool, but again, my favorite part of a riverfront city is of course the riverfront, which we will be getting to soon. So this is the Columbus Trade Building, and remember, Columbus has a history of trade. This is the Columbus Convention and Trade Center. So again, Columbus has a history of industrial trade and you know, has an industrial, especially with cotton and textiles, as we read a few minutes ago. Okay. And it's also, this building is also known as the Historic Ironworks Building. So Columbus, I believe, also manufactured iron as well. This is a really nice waterfall right here that leads to the front of this building. I feel so good over here. And again, this is the Columbus Ironworks Building, which was established in 1853 and was operated by the Confederate government as Naval Ironworks, making cannon, other war munitions, and 2 gunboats. This plant was credited with making the first breech loading cannon. At the south end of Dillingham Street Bridge, 2 blocks west of this marker, was built the world's first ice factory operated by Columbus Ice Manufacturing Company. Ice machines made at the Columbus Iron Works were used in this plant. Okay, so they not only manufactured iron, but they also manufactured ice machines a couple blocks away from this building. So, okay, cool. I did not know Columbus was that deep in manufacturing history, but most of these cities, I'm not too surprised, because most of these cities, especially if they're located near railroads and rivers and major bodies of water, they're very strategic points for trade and commerce in industry. So Columbus has a railroad and it has a major river. So there you have it. But I'm gonna resume once I get to the riverfront, so stay tuned. I'm over here at the Columbus State University Riverside Theater, approaching the Woodruff Riverfront Park by the Chattahoochee River. You can see right here, this building is the Riverside Theater of CSU. It's been so long since I've been to Columbus. I think the last time I've been to Columbus, I believe we did go to the Riverfront Park, but I don't remember this. They must have just recently put this up. I'm talking probably within the last at least 5 years. This is called the Rush South Splash Pad. So it's a playground and a splash pad right here, and right next to it is a playground. And right over here is like a store that has like whitewater rafting. So basically whitewater rafting gear, and they have a food hall over here. I just wanted to come check that out. But again, this is called the Rush South Whitewater Park. Nice sculpture right here. It's called Can Can by Jane DeDecker of Loveland, Colorado. Looks like 5 young ladies. Looks like they're doing, I don't know, some type of pose. It might be ballet, I don't know. But again, it's called the Can Can by Jane DeDecker, and it sits right over here and has all these green leaves right in front of it. So it's really cool. And it's in memory of Ethel Elizabeth Woodruff Draper, who was a ballet dancer. So God rest her soul. Haha, you are beautiful. Thank you. That's very inspiring. As you can see across the riverfront, it looks like a, I don't know, it looks like a stadium or something, or amphitheater. Yes, people do whitewater raft on the riverfront or on the Chattahoochee River. That's why they had that store. They had sold like the kayaks and canoes and stuff like that. I feel like a little breeze. I feel like a slight breeze coming. Matter of fact, it's a pretty nice breeze coming from the river. Feels really nice, you know. It makes the walk a lot more comfortable for sure. Then you do have your shaded areas as well, especially underneath the trees. So this functions, this is more like the trail right alongside the river. Nice place to get some exercise. Plenty of space to bike, to skateboard, walk, run, jog, run, whatever, you know. Even roller skate. I just read on one of the signs they have zip lining. So they actually have zip lining at this park as well. I saw the splash pad earlier, but I did not know they had zip lining. Got a little bit more than what I bargained for. at this riverfront. But some nice artwork right here. Looks like an abstract piece. So that's pretty dope. Now on this side of the river is where you see the rapid currents. So this will be a place where, I guess, where the whitewater rafting and everything will take place due to the rising water. But check this out. You even have Columbus, Georgia, with the peach right there where the O is in Georgia. Of course, Georgia is the peach state. Check this out. Had to get some up close and personal footage of these rapids right here on the river. Pretty dope. That's pretty dope. You know, for all you outdoor enthusiasts that like the whitewater raft, this will be a perfect place to come and do it right here at the Chattahoochee River at the Woodruff Waterfront Park here in Columbus, Georgia. Now I just wanted to get this before I conclude this Columbus walking vlog. This is the mill number 3, Eagle and Phoenix Mills building, which was built in 1869, between 1869 and 1885. And this is where a lot of, you know, textiles and other materials were manufactured and produced in this building right here. So it's a very historic building right here in Columbus. As you can see right here. So this is building number 3, and down on the far right is building number 2, and in the middle is mill number 1. So that is the Eagle and Phoenix Mills. And before I close, as a side note, I also wanted to point out that AFLAC, the auto insurance company, is headquartered right here in Columbus, Georgia. I also didn't notice that until I saw from the distance. I saw the tall building from downtown. It's not directly downtown, but I saw it from downtown. You know, their headquartered building. So shouts out to AFLAC. Y'all know that commercial with the duck that yells AFLAC. Headquartered right here in Columbus. That in mind, people, thank you guys for watching this video. It was a fun experience getting to check out the city of Columbus, and it was also a nostalgic experience for myself personally. So if you guys like the video, you know the routine. Hit that like button, and also if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. Trying to make this, let this channel grow. I'm at 70 subscribers, so you know, y'all keep it coming. That in mind, thanks again for watching, and look forward to doing the next one. Until then, people, take care. Have yourselves a great weekend and a great day as well. Peace.